Hello, my friends, and welcome to another edition of the Value Series. It's Bowman time of year, so it's time to break down all the different formats and find out which one at which price has the most value. Now, this year it's a little bit different. This release, it's a little bit different than normal. The product is so hard to find and it's so expensive that the value sheet seems to be not as important right now, because it's not like you can just run to your local Walmart and grab a blaster box or a value pack. You're gonna have to either find a hobby shop that's open or buy it online. And we've got some expensive prices to look at. So let's start all the way at the top. Okay, here's how it works. This box right here, this row 1, tells you what format we're looking at. So these columns right here are hobby columns and hobby prices. And then next we've got jumbo and jumbo prices and blaster prices. We've got a value pack and a couple of potential prices and a fat pack and some prices there. Now, these prices have actually gone up even more, around $40, $45. I should have probably put like a $50 one in there to see, but hopefully they drop back down to earth. Maybe they get back down around 30. But the first one is the retail price that you would pay. Yes, there's going to be tax added to it. Yes, it might be a little more expensive depending on where you get it, but it's pretty close. So blaster for 20, value pack for 11, fat pack for 6. Maybe your fat pack's $6.50. Maybe your value pack's 10. Maybe your blaster's 22. Either way, we're going to use those numbers. It's not going to matter, as you'll see. For the jumbos, I went all the way down to $3.50 for kind of a typical jumbo price from years past, maybe. I mean, maybe a little bit more expensive, depending on the year, depending on how good the crop is. But right now, we're at about $600. I put $6.50 in there as a price that it could potentially be at soon, and $5.50 as somewhere in the middle. Now for hobby, I put a price of $2.50 as the bottom floor price, $300 as a potential dropping point, and $3.50 at where we're at right now. Now I used this is a first for the value series. I wanted to have a few different price points that we could look at to see maybe where these prices should be in relation to the other formats. First off, I've got how many cards there are in each format. That's the first number here. $240 is what you get out of hobby. $384 from a jumbo, $72 per blaster, $29 per value pack, and $19 per fat pack. The next row is the dollar per card, or the price per card. And you'll see that at the current price, now I'm going to start using current prices mostly, but at $350 a hobby box, you're talking $1.56 per card. Guys, if I get any of these numbers wrong, please forgive me. Feel free to comment below if you see an error, and I'll try to correct it either in the description or make an updated video. But there's so many numbers here that it is possible I got something wrong. And I apologize if that's the case. But here we go. So $1.69 at the current jumbo price of, well, if you use $6.50, let's use $600 as the current jumbo price. $1.56 at the current jumbo price per card. So we're right there. $1.56, $1.56, those are lockstep. Now, if you are fortunate enough to find a blaster box in the wild and you get it for cost of about $20, you're paying 28 cents a card. Compare that to $1.56, okay? Let's go to the value pack. 38 cents a card. The value packs get a little tricky, guys. The numbers aren't going to be perfect because there are 2 normal packs plus a bonus camo pack. I didn't know how to treat that, but we'll get into that in a minute. So if you're going to have to pay the markup, it's going to be about 76 cents a card. So you see, between the blaster box, let's say it's $40. Maybe you're fortunate enough to get them for $40 at one point. It's going to cost you 56 cents a card, which is still a great deal when you compare it to everything else. So that's why I think these blaster box prices should probably be around $50 if the rest of the prices hold. I hate to say that, but it's true. Value pack, 76 cents a piece for the cards, so that's right in the middle. And the fat pack at the current markup price, you're about 63 cents. So one thing you need to notice on the spreadsheet here is that green is good, red is bad. The bright green fluorescent color here is an indication that this is only available in the designated format. So for the hobby boxes, the bright green means that it's an orange exclusive, okay? All right, let's drop down. Now is where it gets interesting. This is what makes the value sheet special, is we find out how much per pack that it costs in relation to what a box costs. So at $350, it's $14.58 per pack. Now this is where the odds come into play. At this point, I take the odds. So for a sky blue parallel, the odds are 1 in 38. So we can go across here and find out that it costs about $554 worth of packs to pull a sky blue. So we go across the row and then we look at the next format, and that is jumbo. This very same insert would cost you about $2,000, $2,300 at 650. We're at about $2,100, $2,200 compared to $554. Let's go over to the blaster. Let's go over to straight up retail price, $345. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Not only is the blaster box the best format for most of your value, it is by a long shot. But the other retail's not that far behind, I guess. $345, $460, $438. And you can see that it starts to get a little bit orange when you are at the secondary market prices, but it's still a heck of a deal compared to the current price of the jumbo box. And actually the hobby box is a pretty good deal for pulling these cards. Now we can keep going down. This is going to take all day if we go through every one of these, but the trend holds true, you guys, for all of the base parallels. Let's just look at the base parallels on the whole. Here we go. I'll highlight it a little bit as much as I can here. Look across here and you see all green in the retail. Of course, we already talked about the orange, and it's only available in the hobby format. Let's keep going down. Now, the prospect paper, we can go see that next, and you'll see that the story doesn't change, guys. Prospect paper going across. I'm sorry it's so slow, it's ridiculous. But let's look at a price here for a blue. Okay, prospect paper blue, it's 1 out of 307 packs in a hobby. Now at the current prices, you're talking $4,476. Current price for a jumbo, $4,800. So the worst odds. Straight off the floor retail, $768. Obscene. It's an obscene deal. Now you can see why everybody is rushing out the door, checking these Walmarts and Targets and Meijer, just checking them every day because it's such a good deal. It's ridiculous. We're going to have to scroll down because the story is the same no matter what we look at, except for one thing. I mean, let's just check out the chrome. Like I said, the story is the same, but how about a refractor? Just look at the top here. We're talking $1,356 in hobby, $1,450, so it's the worst in jumbo, and $231 in a blaster box. Unreal. You want to talk about real savings? Let's go to like a red. So a chrome prospect red. You're talking $134,000 you'd have to spend to pull one through a hobby box. $143,850 through a jumbo, but only $23,340 through a blaster. And it's not that bad with a value pack and a fat pack. Fat pack is looking like the second best odds, guys. Everywhere you look, fat pack is the second best. Now we get into the tricky part. Why you can't just close the book and say, okay, it's an easy win for retail. Well, look at all this black. Black is not good. Black means you cannot get it out of that format. So there's some black in jumbo. You might be thinking, okay, here's the redemption. Autographs. Look at all this green. Green, green, green in the jumbo column. Well, of course it's the best odds to get autographs. Everybody knows that. But you look over here at hobby, not very good. the odds aren't very good. If you're looking at hobby, you're probably thinking hobby is worthless. I mean, let's scroll. Just look at the hobby column. All the way here to the left. Look at how orange and red it is. So for most parallels, jumbo is by far the worst. And hobby is a close second for just being awful. And then you scroll down, you're like, okay, the redeeming factor for jumbos is that they have easy odds on the autographs. Not only the regular autographs, but the fancy parallel autographs. And you look over at hobby and you go, oh, it's not even green over there. It's just horrible. But the redeeming quality is the oranges. It's got pretty good odds to pull an orange. And we see here for the gold autograph, 1 out of 1,483. And if you do the math on that, it's like $21,000 worth of cards that you have to rip before you get one, approximately. But go down to the orange auto. Now, these are out of 25, so it's a much more rare and desirable card. And it's about half the money to pull it. So the oranges are the redeeming quality. It just comes to the point where how bad do you want an orange? And how much are the oranges worth in comparison to the price that you're going to have to pay for that hobby box? Is it worth it? Is the price worth it? So that's the thing about hobby. You have to decide for yourself if it's worth it for you. Now, let's find some gravy, shall we? Right here. Okay, so another thing about retail is you can get the green exclusives. But a lot of people think you can only get green autographs, the green chrome autographs out of retail, but turns out you can get the chrome prospect yellow autos as well. And if you look at the odds, they're not horrible. So you're talking 10,900 in jumbo for the chrome prospect yellow auto versus 15,000. So, 50% more expensive, but that's not as bad as a lot of these other autos are for the jumbo and the hobby. And then come over here and look at hobby, and you've got 19,000. So actually your odds are better to pull a yellow chrome auto out of a blaster box than the current price for a hobby box. Let's keep going down. Here's another redeeming quality for retail. All of these autographs that you see in these columns, you can only get out of retail. Yes, they're paper. Yes, they are stickers, but it is something. It is an auto, and you can get first autos out of there. And it's not as hard of a pull as you would think. I've already pulled, I think, like 4 out of the stuff that I've opened. Last but not least, let's head down to the very bottom. The Gary V variant. Would you believe it? You have a much better chance of pulling this out of retail. Look at the green. Green, 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 green. We'll go all the way to the secondary market prices. 41,000 versus 108,000. Or let's go over to the Valley Pack. 47,000 versus 101,000. So I've been preaching it all along. Retail is the way to go, even at the inflated prices, you guys. If you have to pay $50 for a blaster box, according to this, just rock out, because it's still much, much better odds than jumbo and hobby at pulling these parallels. If you're a parallel guy and you find value in the parallels, maybe you're on a budget, get some retail. Thanks for watching, guys. Hook me up with a like and a subscribe. Go to StrykerBreaks.com, and I will catch you later.